Notice how your focus expands, whatever it touches. This is a concept that has been on my mind for the past few months ever since I read this book called "Couldn't Hurt Me" by David Goggins. The author talks about how he would pick up hitchhikers while he was driving in the U.S. Navy, and how those strangers would have an influence on him, how he could see that they were being influenced by just him being present. He describes this phenomenon as a silent power. And I think this really applies to us as individuals who are leaders in our own lives. As I read through the book, I started realizing that I also had this effect on other people around me. For example, if I walk into a room feeling angry or frustrated, everyone else in that room feels it too. Or if someone comes up to me with a big smile, I feel their energy and I can't help but smile back. We all know intuitively that emotions spread to others, but we rarely take the time to understand why this happens and how we can use it to our advantage. I believe that we each have an invisible aura that surrounds us and extends outward several feet in all directions. It's like an invisible bubble that contains our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. When someone enters our bubble, they pick up on our energy and either feel uplifted or drained. When we enter someone else's bubble, we can have a similar effect on them. The question becomes, what kind of aura do we want to have? How can we make sure that the people around us feel good when they're near us? When I talk about being a leader in your own life, I don't mean being in charge of everyone else or having all the answers. I mean being in control of yourself and taking responsibility for your own actions and how they affect others. It's not always easy to do, especially when we're feeling down or stressed out. But it's important to remember that we have the power to change how we feel and the people around. Us will pick up on that change, and it will influence them in some way. For example, let us say you work in an office, and there's a big project that has to do in a few days. You might be feeling stressed and anxious about meeting the deadline, but then you realize that your coworkers are feeling it too. Their stress levels go up because you're letting your emotions affect them. On the other hand, if you choose to stay calm and focused despite the pressure, your coworkers will sense your stability and it will reassure them, lowering their stress levels and raising their confidence in you and the project. Another example is when you're dating. If you're feeling insecure and anxious about whether or not your partner loves you, those feelings will come across in your interactions with them and make them feel uneasy and unsure about the relationship. But if you choose to trust and believe in yourself and the relationship, you'll exude confidence and make your partner feel loved and secure. You see, our thoughts and feelings create a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves. It influences the people around us, and it can either lift them up or drag them down. That's why it's so important to be aware of how we're feeling and how our emotions affect others. Think about a time when you were around someone who was so full of energy and enthusiasm that it was contagious. Maybe you were at a party, and there was someone who was dancing and laughing and just having a great time. And you found yourself smiling and enjoying the party more than you would have otherwise. Or maybe you were working on a group project, and there was someone who was so passionate and dedicated that it inspired you to work harder and contribute more. These are examples of when someone else's positive energy affected you and made you feel good. But it works the other way around too. Think of a time when you were around someone who was negative and complaining, and it brought you down. Maybe you were on a date, and the person you were with was constantly criticizing and finding fault with everything. Or maybe you were at an event, and someone was so angry and irritable that it ruined the experience for you. These are examples of how negative energy can affect you and make you feel bad. The truth is that we all have the ability to create positive or negative energy, but it takes conscious effort to cultivate a positive and uplifting vibe. It starts with accepting that you are responsible for your own happiness and well-being. It's easy to blame others or make excuses when things aren't going our way, but taking responsibility and ownership of our actions and their consequences is what truly sets us apart. Next, it's important to become aware of your own negative thought patterns and beliefs. We all have them, and it's okay to have them. But it's not helpful to dwell on them or let them control our emotions and behavior. Instead, we need to recognize them, challenge them, and replace them with more positive and empowering thoughts. It's also important to develop a positive mindset and attitude. This doesn't mean ignoring the negative and pretending everything is perfect. It means focusing on the good and being grateful for what we have. Practicing gratitude daily helps shift our perspective and appreciate the blessings in our lives. It could be as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day. Furthermore, we need to learn to manage our emotions and reactions. It's normal to feel negative emotions like anger, jealousy, or fear, but how we choose to express them makes a difference. Practicing emotional regulation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or mindfulness can help us stay grounded and centered even when we're feeling overwhelmed. And finally, it's essential to surround ourselves with positive and supportive people. The people we spend the most time with have a significant impact on our mindset and behavior. Cultivating relationships with people who uplift and inspire us can create a positive feedback loop that reinforces our growth and happiness. By following these steps, we can begin to cultivate a positive aura that attracts positivity and success into our lives. Remember that we have the power to influence those around us and create a ripple effect of positivity in the world. In conclusion, we all have an invisible aura that influences those around us. While we can't directly control others' emotions, we can be mindful of our own thoughts and feelings and how they affect others. By cultivating a positive mindset, managing our emotions, and surrounding ourselves with positivity, we can create an uplifting aura that inspires and motivates those around us. So let's take responsibility for our own happiness and well-being and strive to be the kind of person who brings positivity and success to everyone around them. If you liked this video, please leave a comment below. Let me know what your experience has been with this phenomenon. Have you ever noticed how your mood affects those around you? I would love to hear your stories. Also, if you found value in this content, consider subscribing for more weekly videos on personal development and leadership. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.